Palworld has absolutely taken the world by storm, and while there is a ton of controversy surrounding the game's release, with respect to potential plagiarism, it's undeniable that this game has actually clicked with people. An open world monster catching survival game is actually quite fun. Who would have thought? While there are over 100 pals available within the game, which is very respectable for a game in early access, these pals do come in different shapes and sizes, which can be a bit of a headache when trying to work out which are the strongest pals. And on that note, we've decided to put together a list of the top 10 strongest pals that you can find in the Palworld game. But of course, just before we do go into the video, if you do like this type of content and you would like to see some more top 10s, be sure to hit that subscribe button and of course, like this video. And with all that said, let's just get straight into it. These are the top 10 strongest pals that you can find within the Palworld game. Number 10, Frostallion. Cryolinx is a pure ice pal, and it's the only ice pal that features on this top 10 list. While ice is not as abysmal in Palworld as it is in Pokemon, the ice pals unfortunately do tend to be a little bit weak. Luckily though, Frostallion is the exception to that rule. Frostallion's partner skill, Ice Steed, is great, as it turns Frostallion into a flying mount and boosts ice attacks while mounted. This is primarily a ranged pal, as its shot attack is better than its melee attack. Ice is also strong against Dragon, an element that most extremely strong pals have, so Frostallion can definitely help with those. Number 9, Suzaku. This is a pure fire pal that can pack a sizable punch. Fire is likely the best overall element in the game due to it being strong against 2 elements as opposed to 1. And while the element is a great asset, Suzaku has much more to offer. To begin with, its partner skill allows you to ride it and fly around until your heart's content. This is great for any pal, and Suzaku is definitely one of the faster flying mounts. Its active skills and Fireball and Flare Storm are extremely strong and will deal a lot of damage to any bosses that you're having trouble with. Number 8, Grizzbolt. Grizzbolt has been on a lot of promotional material and acted like a sort of mascot for the whole game with its iconic minigun. It's also the first tower boss that you'll have to fight, so you might have thought that Grizzbolt is only an early game powerhouse. However, and on that note, Grizzbolt is one of the strongest pals within the whole game. Grizzbolt's partner skill, Yellow Tank, allows you to ride it as it wields a minigun. This tank of a pal has great stats and devastating active skills, namely Lightning Bolt and Lightning Strike. Don't be fooled by how early you can encounter this pal, as it's quite strong throughout the entire game. Number 7, Necromus. Necromus is the first half of the duo Knights of Legend, specifically the Dark Knight of Legend. This late game pal is absolutely devastating in combat, but is just as useful as a mount as well. Necromus can jump twice when mounted, and a double jump is extremely helpful while traversing and exploring. Although its real strength is its combat ability, as this pal has incredible stats for an attacker, and is very useful throughout any region thanks to its pure dark element. With an amazing combo of active skills in Dark Laser and Twin Spears, few pals will be standing after a few seconds of combat with Necromus. Number 6, Anubis. Anubis is a ground pal, and it is by far one of the best that you can get your hands on. You'll see its likeness very early on, as is depicted in the Statue of Power. Once you capture a real one though, your game will bust wide open in terms of power. Anubis has an incredible offensive stat of 130 for both melee and ranged attacks. This makes it extremely strong and versatile, especially when you get the skills Rock Lance and Ground Smash. It also has an incredible partner skill, which applies ground damage to the player's attacks as well. Situationally, this thing can be unbeatable. That said, it's still an amazing pal to have in most cases. Number 5, Blazamut. Blazamut is another pure fire pal, and with already mentioning how the fire element is likely to be the best, it should come of no surprise that we have another fire type on this list. Leading on from that, Blazamut has an astronomical melee attack with 150. In addition, you can also ride it around, which is quite handy. Another great thing about this pal is that it gets some coverage naturally with the skills Stone Blast and Rock Lance. It also gets the fire skill Fireball, so not much is sacrificed for coverage. This is quite a reliable pal though, so be sure to grab one if you can. Number 4, Paladius. Paladius is a shining counterpart to Necromus. Its title is the Holy Knight of Legend, and it is a pure neutral type. Unlike Necromus, its stats lean a little bit more towards being defensive. This is a pal that's really hard to take down, and is strong for that reason alone. Paladius has the best neutral skills, but can also use some ice skills for coverage. Skills like Spear Thrust and Blizzard Spike are a must if you have this pal. You can also ride it, and it gets a triple jump, making it an amazing mount on top of an amazing battler. Number 3, Shadowbeak. Dark may be the second strongest element after fire, since it can hit neutral pals effectively, and there's a huge abundance of neutral pals within the game. This combined with incredible offensive stats and a surprising bulk puts Shadowbeak on the top tier. Shadowbeak has one of the best partner skills in the game, boosting dark attacks and letting you ride it and fly. As soon as you get one, Shadowbeak should likely be your primary flying mount. It doesn't have much coverage, only learning dark skills, but it learns the essential dark skills and does hit pretty hard. So on that note, it doesn't tend to be a problem. Number 2, Jormuntide and Jormuntide Ignis. These two pals are somewhat similar to Pokemon's version of Latios and Latias, with them being very similar, but one being a dragon and water and the other being a dragon and fire. Luckily though, no matter the element, both of these pals are incredibly strong. They do lack a little bit in bulk, but they do make up for that via devastating attacks. Regular Jormungear has a partner skill that allows you to move over water indefinitely without losing stamina when mounted on it. Parallel to that, Jormungear Ignis enhances fire attacks while mounted. The unique thing about this though is that you can have both forms of Jormungear on your team, with them both being equally as strong and useful, so it's not like you have to choose between one or the other. Number 1, Jetragon. Jetragon is arguably the best pal in the game, as it's amazing at almost everything. It's a pure dragon pal, which is useful in the late game, as there are a ton of dark pals running around, which makes this pal pretty strong. It has an amazing shot attack stat at 140, and one of the most broken partner skills within the game. Aerial Missile, Jetragon's partner skill, allows you to ride it around as a flying mount, and it will rapidly fire missiles at enemies. Jetragon even has some coverage ability skills, like Flare Storm and Fireball, on top of its usual dragon skills. Against bosses, you can absolutely terrorize them with this pal, especially if they're grounded. And so there you pretty much have it. Those were our top 10 pals from the new Palworld game. So what did you think of our top 10 list? Do you agree with our top 10 pals? Or perhaps that you think that there was a pal that wasn't on this list that should have been included? With this game still being very new, do let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. I would love to hear it. And of course, not forgetting that if you do like this type of content and you would like to see some more top 10s, be sure to hit that subscribe button and of course, like this video. I'll also leave some more top 10s at the end of this video if you would like to check them out. Thanks very much for watching guys, and I will see you all next time.